Okay, I want to start today with a bit of a geography puzzle.
I love a puzzle. Go on.
So, picture the map of Japan, that long, skinny archipelago.
Got it.
Now, put your finger right in the dead center of the main island. You're not in Tokyo, you're not in Kyoto. You're in this landlocked, mountainous region that was historically, incredibly stressful to live in.
Stressful is one way to put it. I'd say high stakes is another.
Right. We are talking about Gifu Prefecture. And, looking at this stack of research, the travel guides, the historical archives, I realized I've just been shooting past this place on the bullet train for years.
It's the classic train through prefecture problem.
Exactly. And I never knew this was like the engine room of Japanese history.
It really was. There's this old saying from the Sengoku period, the Warring States era, that just sums it all up.
What's that?
Control Gifu and you control Japan.
See, that's the quote that stopped me. It sounds like a marketing slogan. Was it actually true?
Oh, it was literally true. I mean, look at a map. If you're a warlord in the 1500s and you want to march your army from the east, where Tokyo is now, over to the west, to Kyoto, where the emperor was,
you got a problem.
A huge problem. The Japanese Alps are this impassable wall to the north, the oceans to the south. The only real path for an army was through the Nobi Plain.
Gifu was the bottleneck.
The strategic choke point. If you held Gifu, you held the only door to Kyoto. It was the key. And the man who figured this out best was Oda Nobunaga.
The great unifier, one of the big three.
The very same. And this leads to one of my favorite details in the file, the name Gifu itself. It wasn't always called that.
It was a no-kuchi, right?
Exactly. So in 1567, Nobunaga conquers the region, stands on top of the mountain, decides, Inokuchi? No, that's not going to cut it.
He needed a rebrand.
A massive geopolitical rebrand. He creates the name Gifu by mashing together characters from two ancient Chinese legends. He takes Ji from Kishan.
Kishan, the mountain where the Zhou dynasty started their campaign to unify China.
Yes. And he takes Fu from Koufu, which was the birthplace of Confucius.
Whoa. So he wasn't just naming a town, he was sending a coded message to every other warlord in Japan.
Exactly. He was saying, I'm not just some local lord. I am the guy who is going to unify this country, and I'm starting right here. It was a declaration of intent, carved right into the map.
That is just so bold. It adds so much weight to the name. So he sets up shop in Gifu Castle, which I've seen photos of. It's perched right on top of Mount Kinka.
It was in Inabayama Castle before the rebrand, but yeah, imagine the view from up there. It's like a 360-degree panic room. You can see armies coming from miles away. The perfect command center.
So Nobunaga has the castle. He's got the strategy. But to conquer Japan, you need more than a cool name and a nice view. You need weapons.
And this is where Gifu gets industrial. You head just a little north of Gifu City and you hit Seki, the city of blades.
I saw that. They've been making swords there for over 700 years. But why there? Was it just a coincidence?
No, it was geology. Sword making needs this very specific trifecta of resources, and Seki it hit the jackpot.
Okay, so what do you need?
First, pristine water for quenching the hot steel. They had the Nagara River. Second, intense heat. So they had massive pine forests for charcoal. But the secret sauce, that was the soil.
The iron sand.
Yep. The riverbeds were rich in high-quality iron sand. It let them make Tamahagane what they called jewel steel. And the reputation they built was legendary. The samurai had a saying about Seki swords.
Doesn't bend, doesn't break, cuts well.
That's the one.
Which, to be fair, sounds like the absolute bare minimum you'd want in a sword. Please give me the one that doesn't snap in half.
Right. It sounds so simple, but metallurgically, that is a massive contradiction. That's the hard part.
How so?
Okay, think about the physics. To make a sword cut well, the edge needs to be incredibly hard, so it holds that razor sharpness.
But hard metal is brittle.
Exactly. It shatters like glass if you hit armor. But to make a sword that doesn't break, the body needs to be softer, more flexible, so it can absorb shock. You have two opposing goals, hard versus soft.
So how did the Seki smiths do it?
They developed this technique of wrapping a core of soft, flexible steel inside a jacket of incredibly hard steel. It's a composite. That's why Japanese swords are so revered. It's not just a sharp piece of metal, it's a technological marvel.
And they're still at it today?
They are. But obviously the market for samurai swords dried up a bit after 1868. The Meiji Restoration banned the samurai from carrying them.
Talk about a major recession for your industry.
Right. But this shows the resilience of Gifu. They didn't pack up, they pivoted. They took 700 years of knowledge about steel and started making kitchen knives, razors, scissors.
So if you have a high-end Japanese knife like a shun or a misono?
There's a very good chance it came from Seki. They kept the craft alive by changing the product.
Wow. Now, speaking of materials, this is where the contrast of the region just blew my mind. You've got Seki, famous for the hardest, sharpest steel, and then practically next door in Mino, they're famous for paper.
Mino washi, it's the perfect juxtaposition, isn't it? From the anvil to the pulp vat.
But this isn't just, notebook paper. The sources say it's used in the Louvre and the Smithsonian.
That's right. It is the gold standard for art restoration around the world. And that comes down to chemistry. Most modern paper is acidic, so it turns yellow and crumbles.
Right, like an old newspaper.
Exactly. Minawashi, specifically the Hanminoshi grade, is pH neutral. The fibers are interwoven in a way using this special suking technique that makes the paper incredibly thin but shockingly tough. It just doesn't age like normal paper.
So when the British Museum is fixing an ancient manuscript, they're not using paper from London. They're ordering it from a village in Gifu.
That's it. It's this hidden global export. It's effectively invisible, but it's literally holding together some of the world's greatest art.
That is wild. Okay, so we've got fire and steel in the south. But if you keep heading north into the mountains, the landscape changes completely. We're going into snow country.
Shirakawa go. And when we say snow, we are not talking about a dusting. We mean a place that was historically cut off from the rest of the world for months.
I saw the records. Snowfall hitting 4.5 meters.
That's 15 feet of snow. That's enough to bury a one-story house.
Wow.
It basically turned the village into an island. And that isolation, it forced a very specific type of architecture to evolve. You've probably seen the photos. The Gasho Zukuri houses.
The ones with the massive, steep thatched roofs. Gasho means praying hands, right?
That's the visual, yeah. But the engineering is all about shedding that insane weight of snow before it crushes the house. If the roof were any flatter, it would just collapse.
But the notes said there was another function for that roof space. It wasn't just attic.
No, it was a factory. The heat from the fireplace on the ground floor would rise up into that huge attic space, creating this warm, dry environment, perfect for cultivating silkworms.
So the house was its own little ecosystem. You live downstairs, you make silk upstairs.
Exactly. But here's the thing that I found most fascinating in the research. It wasn't just the architecture that had to adapt. The society itself had to adapt.
You're talking about Yui.
Yes, Yui. It translates to something like mutual credit or cooperation. Think about those massive roofs. They have to be replaced every few decades. It's a colossal job.
You can't do it alone.
You literally cannot. It takes hundreds of people. And you can't just call a contractor in a 15-foot snowstorm in the 1700s.
Right.
So the village developed this strict social contract. If I help you rethatch your roof, you must help me when it's my turn. The whole village functions as a single unit.
It's like a survival-based credit score.
That's a great way to put it. The house, the physical building, is really a monument to that social structure. One can't exist without the other. If the community breaks down, the roofs collapse.
That changes how you see the photos. It's not just a pretty village, it's a living system. Now, speaking of systems, let's head to the place they call Little Kyoto, Takayama.
Takayama. This circles back to that whole idea of control we started with.
The sources called it Tenryō territory, under direct control of the shogun in Edo.
Yeah.
But why? It's so far out in the mountains.
It wasn't for military reasons this time, it was resources, specifically timber. Takayama is surrounded by dense forests. In the Edo period, timber was like oil is today. You needed it for everything.